Hey, when you think of Sauk County, you may already know about Wisconsin Dells and the circus and Baraboo and such, but today we're going to take a look at some hidden gems on Discover Wisconsin.
Hello and welcome to Discover Wisconsin.
Now, a lot of people know about Devil's Lake State Park, which is just about 5 or 10 minutes away. Not as many know about this. Parfrey's Glen was Wisconsin's first state natural area, established in 1952. But tens of thousands of years ago, these rocks were pushed into place, and the spectacular gorge, the beginnings of which are just here, was carved out by a tiny little stream. Now, if you're a geologist, you're fascinated at the rock strata. Tens of thousands of years of sandstone and limestone piling up. It's even cooler to climb through and even under, which you get to do right here. So when you traverse all the rocks, you come to a waterfall. Bit of a drier year right now. Normally there's more water on that, but it's still gorgeous to look at, and it's still a lot of fun to play in, as you can see.
Speaking of geographical marvels, a mere 30-minute drive away, on the outskirts of Rock Springs, lies Ablemans Gorge.
Now, in Ablemans Gorge, Highway 136, a railroad, and the Baraboo River all sneak through this area that has just amazing granite and other kinds of rock towering around it. Here in the heart of Ablemans Gorge is the centerpiece. This is Van Hise Rock. Named for Professor Charles Van Hise of the University of Wisconsin, he used to take his students here to study structural geology. This rock was formed from quartzite, pounded into rock after being on a sandy seabed for centuries, and just part of the beauty right here in the gorge.
The gorge offers captivating wonders and terrific hiking opportunities across a roughly mile-long stretch. When you've conquered that, you'll find perhaps Wisconsin's most refreshing hidden gem.
You know, there's a reason they call this town Rock Springs. This is the spring. Fresh artesian water. You can buy Rock Springs water or get it free right here. It's right along 136 and perfect after a hike in Ablemans Gorge. Just heard a train whistle. We've got rail to trails all over the state, and here in Reedsburg, you're at the trailhead of the 400 State Trail. The 400 State Trail is about 22 miles from the trailhead at Reedsburg on up to Elroy, where you can catch the Elroy-Sparta Trail and be part of the statewide network. The 400 in the name comes from an old train line from Chicago to Minneapolis that ran you 400 miles in 400 minutes. I'm not going that fast on this, but it's still a nice pace and it's still a beautiful ride. Oh, you're trying to pass? Okay, go ahead, speedster.
Well, now that we've had the lay of the land, it's time to get on the water. Often overshadowed by water parks and attractions, the Per Upper Dells is one of Wisconsin Dells' most beautiful stretches of water, an oasis away from the tourist hustle and bustle.
Describe how the Dells work here, because a lot of people go to Wisconsin Dells, but they don't know as much about the river.
Sure, there's 3 different sections. There's the lower, the upper, and the Per Upper, and each one has a different location within the Dells. And the Per Upper is the first section of rock coming into the Dells that not many people know about because there's no boat tours up here. It's all silent craft like kayaks, and it's very shallow and knee-deep with islands and sandy shores, and it's just really beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful rivers in the world. All sandy beaches, sandy shores, beautiful rocks. These sandstone rock formations are found in like 3 places in the world. Cambrian sandstone from the Cambrian period, created when there was a large flood that came through here. They just built these stunning rock formations. They're gorgeous. This is the perfect place for families to learn how to kayak. It's kind of like the lazy river of the Dells, but like the largest in the world. There's a current, so you don't have to paddle if you don't want to. You can kind of float down through here. Makes it great for family fun.
How long have you been doing tours here?
18 years. This is our 18th year of business. Been a lot of family fun trips since 2005. We do all guided. We like to keep everyone guided on this river for preservation reasons. There's times in the upper Dells where the river won't freeze over, and so we get to paddle year round. It's really beautiful, the Dells.
So you can do winter kayaking right here?
As long as you're adventurous.
Sauk County is home to many historic and storied river towns like Wisconsin Dells. Formerly known as Kilbourne City, it was the stopping off point for river rafters floating lumber from northern Wisconsin and the river steamers of the day. So we're stopping by this water-inspired gem. Maybe you've had a ride down the Wisconsin River in an old-fashioned steamboat, but have you ever had a pancake breakfast on a steamboat? On land? Serving up arguably the best pancakes in Wisconsin, our next stop is Mr. Pancake.
This place has a unique style. That's a big showboat, literally. So, and a lot of that's still original. You redid parts of it.
Yes, we did an update to the interior, but the riverboat has been like that since the 70s. We wanted to tie in the riverboat theme inside and make it more nautical.
Your specialty is obviously pancakes. And what are some of the other big things people love?
Our omelets are very popular. We've got some recent additions like avocado toast that's been popular as well. It's
Very
a trend.
millennially.
Yeah,
I like it.
right?
I love avocado toast.
We also added a barista bar from guests wanting to have more of an espresso-based lineup as well.
We have quite a following of people, and we still have new people coming in to see us. It's full of families and kids.
Great location for people gearing up to go to the water parks. Noah's Ark across the street. We're fortunate with that area.
Our next stop is the Miramac Ferry. We take a trip through time across beautiful Lake Wisconsin. Started in 1840, it's one of the longest running ferries in service today.
Around 1846, Chester Matson started a ferry here. It operated in private capacities up until the early 1900s, at which time the ferry road became a state highway. It's a cable friction drive system. A friction drum runs a cable and that pulls the boat back and forth. 7.5 minutes one way, so it's about a 15-minute round trip. We typically run in mid-late March until late December. When the ice is on the river, then we have to close it down.
Speaking of ice, you can get ice cream on either side. That's pretty cool while you wait.
Quite a few people that get the ice cream on both sides. Over the years, I think it's just become how iconic it is to have a ferry here. It's free to the public. There's a lot of people that get off the interstate, drive over to ride the ferry, and then they turn around and drive right back to the interstate. It's a nice way to relax on a vacation.
I'm king of the world! It's been done. Just below me here from Ferry Bluff State Natural Area is where the original ferry operated in the early 1800s before it moved to Miramac. Moses and Persis Law operated the ferry using a rowboat to tow people back and forth across. Today, you can view the spot where they used to do that and everything else around you, looking at Sauk and over into Dane County from this amazing perch. A hiking trail gets you up here with a steep climb, but the breathtaking view makes it all worth it.
For our next stop, when we say hidden gem, it doesn't get any more literal than this. The Opal Man has been collecting rare gems for over 50 years, operating out of a quaint old former gas station in Spring Green.
So tell me your story. How did this come to be?
Well, I lived in Australia for about a year, and I worked in an opal shop, and he helped set me up with some stones. Went to New York, couldn't sell anything. They just wanted diamonds. I think I was averaging about $25 a week. In New York, that doesn't go very far, so I said, I'll go to the Midwest and see what I can get going. And I sold really well in the Midwest and pretty much started the doublet craze, but that was in 1972, 71.
You're drawing customers from all over, it seems.
Well, but we're specialized, we only carry natural opal. We're really the only all opal shop in the nation.
You have another location now. You expanded into Lake Geneva.
Yes, we did.
But here in Spring Green is the original.
Yeah, it's the original, yep.
So Dennis, you go to Australia for these opal.
Right.
Take me through the process from you get the raw stone, how does it turn into all of this splendor?
Well, first you have to take a plane ride about 14 hours from LA, and then I'm looking for miners that have rough, and I cut it. Grind it through different stages of grits, polishing it, and that's kind of what you hit. They're 155 carats to an ounce, okay? On chips, you get about a 15 carat return, pretty small. But as you go up, then the return gets greater and greater. But a lot of times the opal lets you know what it needs to be cut into.
Our next stop takes us to Elms Farm, a lavender and herb farm that is taking a different approach in preventative care.
Tell me how this all came to be.
After receiving my horticulture degree, my first job, I was asked to put in an herb garden. I learned about how to grow herbs and how their cultivation worked. When my son was born, I took him to the doctor for repeated earaches, and the doctor's medicine didn't do anything. So I just out of curiosity opened a herb book and saw what might help that. And actually that tall blooming yellow flower behind you is the one that inspired me to trust nature first.
And you do educate people on this topic. It's a very complex topic, but people can come here to Four Elements and learn and take tours.
That's right. I have a whole list of classes on my website.
On these tours, people can actually see the very origins of what they buy and what they use.
I love what you just said.
And you also have a store in North Freedom.
We're jokingly known as the largest employer in North Freedom. We're all women power. So we have women who grow all the herbs, like you see Liz and Maria there. I think it's very important to hire local people and to keep a viable business in these small towns in America.
What do you have to do differently throughout each season then? I mean, obviously winter's a bit of a downtime.
Well, our products sell more in the winter, so it's a lovely rhythm that nature has presented us with. We get to work in the fields in the summer, more people go shopping in the winter, and we have the holidays.
What different products do you sell, for example, in your store?
Our wild yam cream, that plant is helping women with their transitions.
I'm learning.
Yeah, and it's selling like hotcakes every 20 minutes. My mission to get people to pay attention, nature actually does have remedies that can support their well-being in every capacity.
It wouldn't be Wisconsin if we didn't mention cheese, and Sauk County is home to some of the best cheesemakers in the country. We're stopping by Cedar Grove Cheese to learn a little bit more about the cheese-making process.
What makes Cedar Grove Cheese a must-stop when people are traveling to Sauk County?
Well, I think because our whole process here is so accessible. We have these 3 vats in different stages of production, and then we have a person there who can tell them all the things that are going on. The way I train people is find out what they're interested in. If somebody wants to understand the traditional cheese-making process, we have a unique ability to provide whatever answers they're looking for. The water treatment system attracts a lot of people in its own right. We're just interested in how nature cleans things. One of our projects right now, working with our organic farmers, is to tell the stories of what they're doing on their farms, connecting those with a QR code on the package so that the environmental efforts that's being done on the farms becomes accessible to the consumer. So they just take a picture of the QR code and it will have stories attached to it about all the individual farms that are providing the milk for that piece of cheese.
So you can learn everything from the environmental to just the science and art behind making the cheese.
Yeah. You'll find out which cheesemaker made the cheese and is responsible for it and what time it came out of the vat, so you know exactly how old that piece of cheese is.
Like a batch of fine whiskey, a batch of fine cheese.
Nothing pairs better with cheese than a glass of wine. Established in the mid-1800s, Wersholm Winery has been producing exceptional wines for generations. But there's more to Wersholm than wine, and we're going behind the scenes to discover what makes this place truly unique.
So Tom, good to be down here in the barrel room. You're in charge of the distillery. When did this come about at Wersholm?
Distilling began in 2010. Cocard brandy, modeled after a cognac, but instead of using French native grapes, we used Wisconsin native grapes. Distilling brandy, you start with a wine, so distilling brandy is just a natural extension of winemaking.
So that was your flagship?
That was the flagship, the original product, sold out very quickly. So we decided to take that philosophy and expand it.
So it was the winery forever, and then the distillery got added. Now the bistro's here too.
Yeah.
How do they go together, the spirits and the bistro?
Making brandy and making spirits is kind of a natural extension of winemaking. There's always an opportunity to pair alcohol or beverages with food.
So now I'm in the actual bistro, an 1858 building with Roman here who's the head chef. Roman, this is a beautiful building. A lot of people don't know about this yet.
Yeah, this is the original winery building, and we reconverted it into a bistro downstairs. It's approachable food, all homemade, affordable for everybody. A lot of French-inspired foods, all seasonal stuff that we can find.
And they can learn how to pair different things with different wines for the maximum experience.
Absolutely. We're open every day, noon to 4:30. Once in a while, we do some after-hours events too.
Hey, if you like this episode, make sure you subscribe to the Discover Wisconsin YouTube page. And for even more, download the Discover Wisconsin app.
Just outside of Devil's Lake State Park, Tumbled Rock Brewery is the ideal stop for beer enthusiasts, offering a unique and diverse selection of handcrafted brews from their signature hoppy IPAs to their rich and smooth stouts.
What can people expect when they come to Tumbled Rock Brewery in Kitchen?
Well, it's going to be very active. You have people in line just come to relax here and drink beers, and some just want to dine. You're going to experience live music almost 6 days a week. On Saturdays and Sundays, we have an afternoon and evening show, and we're family friendly as well. Dogs, expect a lot of dogs. Bring your dogs. It gets a little crazy. We have a fireplace inside for the winter time that's got a nice lounge area that people can just chill there if they've been on the ski hill. In the fall, fire pits are going out here. If you just want to chill up here on the turf, it's great. If you want a little more formal experience, sitting down in the dining room, you're going to get full service there.
And you have such a spectacular location. You're right between Baraboo and Devil's Lake State Park. But what's it like having a business and welcoming all these people in for Sauk County?
There's a lot of new stuff going on in Baraboo between the winery and the distillery and all that. We were a good fit, and it draws a lot of people to the Baraboo area.
All aboard!
The Hidden Gem Express, because this train is leaving the station.
Welcome aboard, everyone. So my name is Jeff, and I'm your conductor today.
All right, so I'm here with Jeff, who's serving as conductor today on our trip. Jeff, can you do Mozart's Concerto No. 7?
I could try, but it would not be pretty enough.
Wouldn't if I did it either, so okay. Jeff, this is a spectacular set of rail lines you have here. Tell us what everybody can see and do here at this museum.
We have the train ride, riding on historical train cars, 7-mile round-trip ride. And then the museum here as well. We have over 100 cars and locomotives at Mid-Continent, of which about 45 or so have been restored and are on display.
A lot of people love trains, especially kids, but why the Mid-Continent Railway Museum?
It's an educational experience, not just climb aboard and look out the window. We do try to share information on the history of the cars along the way, the hand signals that were used, and how the train crews operated. Not just fun train ride, but you learn something along the way with it.
All aboard the Hidden Gem Express.
Sauk County is host to some of the most spectacular variety of landscapes, but the Spring Green Prairie Conservancy is truly unique. Known as Wisconsin's desert, this 1,300-acre conservancy is one of the most diverse areas in the Midwest.
The habitat behind us is really adapted to dry desert-like conditions. Originated when glaciation just dumped miles and miles of sand up and down the Wisconsin River, and we're really sitting on lots of that sand now. You get plants and animals that are usually found much further west. This preserve is protecting one of the last remnants of such communities in Wisconsin.
I understand there's cactus here. How does that happen?
Plants and animals are really adapted to their environment, and this environment being really harsh, poverty-deficient sand, really allow those types of plants and animals to exist. On each side of the river are these bluffs, really characteristic of a region of Wisconsin called the Triflis area. We have a trail that meanders through the sand prairie and goes along the base of the bluff and then up into the woods, and you get a great view of the Wisconsin River Valley from up at the top, as well as seeing just a really special assemblage of prairie plants.
It was wildfires that essentially cleared a lot of this.
Correct.
And that nourished the sand eventually, the soil, right? Because fires do that.
It can, definitely bringing nutrients into the ground for the plants to utilize. Back in the 1970s, the Nature Conservancy began to protect and actively manage this land. Scientists really realized we had to play a role in helping bring back habitats such as this to increase their abundance and diversity.
You know, looking back at everything in Sauk County, it's really amazing what one single county can have to offer. From paddling in the Wisconsin River to climbing hills and checking out cactus, it was so much fun checking out everything in Sauk County. All the hidden gems, all the great things there is to do. Check it out for yourself. See all the wonders of Sauk County. Visit shop.discoverwisconsin.com and discover new ways to share the Wisconsin love.